for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Right. Thanks everyone for joining this evening. And just so everybody is aware, we are recorded at all of our meetings. Okay, you see, we do have a quorum here. Everybody is here tonight. We do not have a public hearing. I will call for other business. I do have a couple to add, but does anybody else have anything to add for other business tonight? Okay, we do need to add the special events permit for the Toledo Thursday Market. And we also will need to add the special events permit. All right. So I'd entertain a motion for approval of the consent agenda.
I'll move that we approve the consent agenda.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Rebecca and seconded by Kathy. Is there any discussion on that? All right, all those in favor?
Okay.
Opposed?
Nay.
All right, motion carries. We'll go ahead and move into department report. We'll start out with police.
Good evening. Sorry I missed your last meeting, I was sick. I have prepared April 2025 report as follows: 1 agency assist, 1 alarm call, 7 civil problems, 1 death investigation, 1 drug violation, 1 info theft, 5 info general, 1 suspicious circumstance, 2 criminal traffic, 1 traffic infraction, 1 traffic other, 1 theft larceny, totaling a whopping 23 calls for the month of April. Questions?
We're still running about the same. We're not being your problem children.
No.
Okay.
Goodness, no.
Okay, just making sure.
Yeah, anything else?
Good to see you.
Yeah,
Yes.
thank you.
Nice to see you guys around.
Yeah.
Thanks, Chief.
Saw you driving the Toledo car home yesterday. Or
That's Jaren.
That's Jared.
That's
Yeah,
Jared?
That's my husband. Yeah.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Yeah, he loves it. Shiny car he gets to drive around. And
And says Toledo.
it says Toledo on the side.
See?
Thank you
Have
very
a good
much.
month.
Thank you. Have a good night.
Thank you.
We will move down to City Hall.
I finished my auditor's report, the annual report that's due every year. One thing the auditors called out is they wanted it to be reviewed by someone that had experience with bars, so I've got that sent off just to have a set of eyes review it. Carly's back as of today. Sarah completed billing on her own. We found a couple of issues, so it took a little longer. Bills will be probably a couple days delayed. And then we were able to, so when we hooked up Harmony, which is the company that reads our meters, it was October, so they never came out and did training with the office. So I was able to get a hold of them while Carly was gone, and we did like a 2.5 hour training with them today. So yeah, that's about it.
Any questions for Rachel? All right, we'll move down. So nothing from Public Works today. We'll jump into council reports. I have nothing to report currently. We'll go ahead and.
Nothing for me.
Are we going in order or are we going around?
I think we've gone over our numbers.
Let's see. Thank you to Public Works for cleaning up on the east side of 6th Street. Although I did notice here on the corner of Cowlitz and the 505 up against the post office. It's pretty gnarly there.
Okay.
And actually also the growth all the way around that whole thing. I know that we're going to be getting ready for Tuesdays here soon.
Yeah,
June is a little late to wait to
yeah, and
clean up. I think that was it.
perfect.
Nothing to report.
I planted sunflowers today for the big contest, and I realized it was only for kids. I thought they should have had it over 70.
Say you're an older kid.
Yes.
We think they should have it over 75 to keep our seniors active.
We could probably talk to the market about that. That's what yours perk up. I look forward to seeing them. Hopefully I'll see them around town as well. Lots of people growing.
Okay, so, time to time in council, we have robust conversations. And what I Yet last meeting, there was a robust conversation that got lots of attention. I had a lot to say, and there was one sentence about what I said. And then it delineated what Eric had to say and what the mayor had to say and what Rachel had to say. And in my entire time here, I have never seen such a targeted act. And I'm really offended. But here's the thing. It's contending that I speak about liberal things. So here's the thing with liberal thinking. Liberal is willing to respect or accept behavior or opinions different from one's own to new ideas, relating to or denoting a political and social philosophy that promotes individual rights, civil liberties, democracy, and free enterprise. And that you're actively lapping up.
I apologize,
is
it's that you're
offensive.
repeating, no, that you're speaking what liberal ought to be, and I completely agree with that. Unfortunately, that is not what liberal is anymore.
Okay, this is my time.
You commented on me laughing, so I apologize, it wasn't that you, it was just that the.
And I've also heard you use your word woke in a snarky way
Mhm.
on more than one occasion. And woke is of and actively attentive to important societal facts and issues, especially issues of racial and social injustice. These words have been made into terms of abuse. They've been used as weapons. They are dismissals of people's beliefs and language policing.
And I don't want to write your name.
I'm not done.
Okay.
I'm so not done. I really don't tolerate bullies. And I will not be bullied. I will push back. Every single time I will push back. I have stepped down things when I've been snarked at. But I'm done with that. I'm done. You either treat me with respect or you get the same thing back. I had more to say. I'm just really frustrated right now.
And I will, and on Wednesday, we'll look into that, because I do know that we don't, like, it generally is just like, this person reported, this person reported.
No, the thing is, and I've told you guys several times since our last audit happened, is the auditors strictly called
yeah.
out council reports being city business only. If it's not city business, they do not want to see it in our minutes anymore. Last year, there was a lot of stuff like went to my sister. to the mayor and how she wants to run council. But as far as what the auditors want to see is if it's not city business, they don't want to see it in the council report minutes. That's what
I actually brought that up.
was on our
I
findings
asked her-
last week.
I asked her why the four things that you brought up weren't in there. So I actually did bring it up.
And additionally, I'm pushing back on that too, because as I said, we have had robust conversations that have gotten crickets in minutes.
Right, so you guys should be bringing those up instead of just letting the agendas go through. If you feel there's something missing at the minutes or in the minutes, that's when you guys are approving the consent agenda is when it needs to come up. So I'm actually doing minutes tonight myself. I'll be doing council minutes. But if you feel there's something missing, then we shouldn't just be pushing the agenda through. That needs to be brought up. That's your guys' job is to catch anything that's, you know, falling through, but as far as council reports, the auditors were very clear. It was in our audit report that came out for this last year that city council reports are for city business and not for, I went to, you know, wherever. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, well. Again, I'm saying this was significant. This was significantly targeted.
But was it city
Because-
business? Because the auditors are ultimately the ones that.
What
Actually, it wasn't.
in here was significantly targeted. Now, I forget his name, the guy that comes on the screen. Oh, Tom. He had significant things to say. And I didn't really see that kind of detail in his stuff. So, yeah, I am taking.
So minutes are not word for word also. Minutes are just a quick brief and then you
I
can go
know
back and
that.
watch the video.
I know. that,
Okay, well, you guys should
but
bring them up
this is
next time.
Pretty detailed. Pretty significant and detailed. And the other people that speak has not been so detailed. So I'm seeing a drastic difference. Like this. And I wanted to bring it up.
And thank you for doing that. I'll dig into that on Wednesday too, when I'm here with all of the girls. And see, because I know normally, like you said, it is just like mayor reports on, boom, that's it. Like, or if there's no reports, like it's literally just
Yeah.
a one line or not.
And
Or
that's
a
how they're supposed to
discussion
be.
ensued.
This
Motion
one
passed,
was
whatever.
multiple sections. That's what she's saying
On this,
on the meeting minutes. Yeah. So I'll follow up with you and we can talk with the rest of them on Wednesday when I'm up here.
there's,
Yeah.
that's how minutes are supposed to be written, but
Yeah.
that's fine.
Okay, so we will go.
Periods. That's what
will-
included.
So for committee reports tonight, anything from planning tonight? It is. Just working on your knees, that's all.
Right. Planning commission, we got a visit this time.
Can I have your state your name?
My name is Steve Birch, I'm the chair of the planning commission. We got a visit from the ecology people who are working on the growth management plan as part of the consulting team. After we reviewed the changes that we had made to the sewer and storm and water, aquifer, things that Todd had reviewed, put back before us for review. Ecology went on with the riparian areas, the buffer zones, critical areas. And we had some options, and planning commission chose some options or an option with reporting on the buffer zone that would allow us the most leeway in dealing with developers if they have problems. It was noted that Toledo actually is a member of a land bank. So that if our developers have an issue with not being able to use a certain number of acres because of mitigation issues or environment issues, there is an out for that. The land bank is for that kind of use. And if you're not familiar with the land bank, it's a much larger parcel put aside by private industry and private persons that are adopted by the state that allows them to maintain a more, a broader, scope of environmental mitigation and riparian, restoration, environmental, life, protection, et cetera. And in some instances with development, you've got 2 or 3 acres that are designated as wetlands or designated as the bearer of a particular flower or a particular thing, and the actual destruction of that particular 1 or 2 acres is not going to produce a real impact, but it does prevent the project from moving forward. And in this case, a developer can opt to make a sizable donation to the land to purchase equal numbers of acres out in this land bank area, which satisfies some of those mitigation requirements. Looking forward to the rest of the growth management issues. At one point in time, we'll get the entire report and review it before it comes to council. I might note that the City Parks Department presented their comprehensive report. Is well written, and what we have to do is now start thinking into the future for some areas that may become parks, because we can't. That's where our impact fees are going to come from, is from future growth. And so that's the kind of budgeting and capital improvement budgets that will be necessary for those particular items, the walkway, the river walk, things like that, that we want to get it done. And the park board's really not, they're not set up to do that type of budgeting. So when the time comes when we want to do that, we are going to have to probably seek some outside consulting help to put that together. I think that our city engineers have done some of that work in the past, in the previous land development plan, and we'll look forward to how that moves forward. That's all I have. Any questions?
I think Cindy's doing our budgeting for the park. I think Cindy's doing our budgeting for the park comp plan, or the park board is, yeah, with the park board.
Yeah, they were, I believe that budgeting was for current holdings, is that not correct?
Right, you are correct.
Yeah,
Not
Yeah,
for the future stuff, yeah.
Future stuff that-
You're correct, Steve,
Yeah, we may or may not actually obtain
that land.
that land. You know, the odds are 90% we are going to obtain it, but Todd suggested that we try that once we get to it.
Yeah.
I mean, yes,
I don't know if you can do anything about this, or we have to do something about this. I just wanted to bring up, because you're the land guy, that Amazon was looking to spend billions of dollars reaching out into areas for their distribution.
well, we don't have that land right now because it's, you know, our UGA originally was going to go all the way out to Highway 5, and because of the county problems and funding the type of studies that would allow such a large annexation to take place, or a large allotment into our UGA to happen at once. They pretty much gave us, we'll designate that as the Toledo growth area, so that no one else can come along and grab it, but we're not in a position to actually grant any land to Amazon at this time because we don't have it.
Yeah.
They would fit wonderfully out in our industrial commercial zone that we do have plans for out there, but that's going to be a few steps away.
Do we know, so when they're done with that and that's placed into the urban reserve, how long do we have before we can start trying to pull that stuff in?
Well, we have to exhaust what we have because you have to show a need for the land in order to do that. And we do have some parcels of land that are not been annexed yet. And
I don't know if that delays us.
I'm sorry?
I don't know if that delays us. I mean, we have a couple lots that aren't in the city that are.
And we have some that we don't believe will ever be developed. So But once we, we get these two subdivisions up here, obviously we'll start looking at housing at Toledo. Actually, Toledo Tel actually puts their business center up there on the hill. That's gonna show a need for more housing. And we'll get there with this, what we were anticipating by the 20-year growth plan, I think we're gonna far exceed that. And when we get to that point, then we can show the county that we do need the land and we can move forward. And it really is, it's gonna be step by step along the 505 corridor toward 505.
Okay.
Any other questions?
And unfortunately answer your
I'd
question.
love to grant some land that we don't own, but actually, yeah.
The county needs to become.
And, okay.
They're having to do the same 20-year plan as well.
Okay.
So we're, yeah, they're not wanting to do any additional work until that's done.
Okay. I just didn't know if it was like once that is what they're working on right now is done, like it was like locked for X amount of years before we could access it.
No,
Okay,
it's, yeah.
once it's done and put into the urban reserve and we can start.
Todd was almost answering that same question at the last meeting where he said 2 years, or actually at the meeting where he said 2 years.
It
That's
needs,
where he-
yeah. Okay. Thank you. All right, so next up is park board. Does anybody want to speak on park board? No worries. And we do still have vacancies on the park board, so if anybody knows someone who would like to get involved, please have them reach out to City Hall.
Okay.
All right, so we will move right into the special presentation, which is Sandy Fair regarding Toledo Community Cleanup Day.
You know, a little while we're waiting for back surgery.
Oh.
Hello, my name is Sandy Hare, like the rabbit. I moved here to Toledo a year and a half ago. We bought the farm property with the big silo across from the softball fields. And I get that. I get out. We like it too. Anyway, I have always been active in the community. My background is as a teacher, a principal, an assistant superintendent, a college professor. I've worked on different committees. I was executive director for a 501c3 charity. And thanks. I'm 77 years old. It's a long resume, so that's as much as you need to know. But I have been looking for about a year to find ways that I could fit into the Toledo community. I realize that many people have been here a very long time, and so I may never fit into the Toledo community like they do, but that's okay. Currently, I am a member of Vision Toledo and have been for about a year. And they needed someone to make a phone call to City Hall about community cleanup day. Well, I said, well, I have a little time. I raised my hand. So now I'm the chairman.
It's over.
And that's how it works. If it's okay. It's a good way for me to get involved. I've also put in an application for the passport.
Perfect.
And we'll see how that goes too. But I love this little town. I've never lived in a little town before. There are quirks I'm still learning about and lots of history I'm learning about, but I just love being here. It's calmer. It's better for my soul. So I thank all of you for that, because that's what makes the community. I'm here today to talk about Community Cleanup Day. It has happened in the past. It didn't happen last year for some reason, but we're bringing it back. And as such, we have lots of things going on. It will be on Saturday, March 31st. Excuse me, May 31st. See, I'm 77. Anyway, and we already have a Facebook page where people can sign up automatically. Melody Montgomery, who is also new to the community, has been kind enough to do that for me. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is my personal card, but on the back is information and where you can sign up to volunteer. I'm gonna pass these around for you guys. I'm handing it to you. All right, so, we've got signups going. We haven't got flyers out yet, so the number of people who have signed up right now is negligible. But I am going to be visiting all of our schools, all of our churches in town, and all of our businesses, or at least as many of them as I can get to. And talking to them about the event, giving them flyers that they can post or pass out, and asking them for volunteers, for donations, and any ideas of things that they feel need to be done. So I will be doing that in the next 2 weeks. I have a list of projects that is ever growing. I live by tables and spreadsheets. This one is a table, but this is the number of projects we have so far. And there's 2 more I already know about, and Eric, you mentioned something I want to talk to you about later.
Okay.
Okay. The park, the Leader Fresh Market has volunteered to provide hot dogs and such for us. And we'll barbecue them there for everybody. We're also gonna have a raffle there. My son has donated an outdoor pizza oven from his company. So we will raffle that there. So it will be a nice time. The projects we'll be doing, I had on here some things about roofs. We're not going to do roofs. It's not safe. So we're not going to do roofs. But other things include gardening projects, power washing projects, just refreshing kinds of things, painting things, washing and just cleaning things up, refreshing them and what have you. So there's a wide variety of things to do, things that people of all ages could do. Just bring your tools, bring some sunscreen and some use and welcome. And those to you guys. The insurance that Rachel put on the calendar is going to be provided. The liability insurance is going to be provided by the Lions Club. They've been kind enough to do that for us, so that's taken care of. The only other thing I want to mention is that we are going to do a second event in the fall. This was my cockamamie idea. And it is going to be, the May event is focusing on cleaning community, public spaces. And the fall event is going to be called the Neighborhood Cleanup Month. And I am working with Lewis County Transit to get dumpsters here or whatever they have to collect electronics and metal and paper shredding and all of those other things. I don't know if all of those will be coming on one day or if they'll be coming at various times during the month. But we'll put out a calendar to everybody through the water bill like you did with the notice about this. And the whole idea is to clean up our neighborhoods as well as our common places. And we don't have to do that so much for cheese days because they're not in those places that much. Okay. So with that, do you have any questions for me?
So I can tell you that, when we did our cleanup, we had them all the dumpsters and everything at the park. Not this park, but the other parks.
And I talked to them about that, and they said that because I called them, and being new here, I get away with a little bit more than you guys might. But I called and said, I noticed that you got lots of cleanup days or special event pickups in various communities around Toledo, but I don't see much going on in Toledo. What's the story? And they said, well, the last time we had an event there, it wasn't in a fenced-in area. And so people were dropping off stuff that couldn't be recycled or whatever. And so they became responsible for getting rid of that stuff. The dead of night people crept in and did that thing. But I said, no, we'll guarantee that it'll be a fenced-in area. Those are all things to be taken care of after we get this one taken care of.
Well, this is a new wrinkle.
Yeah. But if they didn't tell you that was the situation, shame on them. But at the same time, we can rectify that. We can find a fenced-in area.
You answered my question about that you're gonna tie in the fall cleanup to what we've had in the past. That's great.
To what we've had in the past.
To the dumpsters coming in.
Oh,
so-
yes,
So
yes,
that's great.
Yes, perfect. Anything else? Okay, you've got your card, you know how to use a QR code.
Mhm.
We're gonna have fun, we're gonna do some work and the city's gonna be spectacular. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Oh, by the way, I'll warn you now, we'll be seeing more of them.
Benny, and then I'll still need
Okay.
this filled out,
Yes.
but I'll try to get it passed tonight. I don't know if you're gonna stick around. I don't need you to if you don't need to, but just make sure this gets.
Well, I'll
Brenda.
stick around as long as I can.
Okay.
If my monitor goes off, I'm gonna have to be.
Okay.
Perfect. So we'll move right along. Any public comment on our agenda items? Right.
Before you move on to other business, the other thing I also wanted to bring up that I had forgotten is. When we had the chip seal done, they're supposed to come back later and keep up the gravel, and they haven't done that yet.
Nope, and they've been notified twice now that they need to get in contact.
Okay.
Do we? They've gotta have a main office that somebody could just drop into.
Is it the one we had done with Malpavine?
And we're not the only
It might
one
be.
that have had issues.
I'll reach out to Michelle.
Yeah, because, I think that maybe then every city is going, why isn't the gravel fence bucked up?
I had seen another one recently that had some complaints also.
Can I jump in there real quick? Have you talked to Winlock?
I'm
I
not,
know that Brandon is working on either getting or fixing their own street sweepers. So Winlock might have a sweeper for us tomorrow.
That cleaner, that sweep up is supposed to be part of the bid.
yeah,
So it's supposed to be, they do the chip seal and they come back 6 months later and sweep up the.
Is it
The
still all over the
remnants.
place?
yeah,
Yeah, you can see it.
it's worse.
I
It
got
seems
to
like-
Michelle's the one looking over my report, so I'm sure I'll hear from her this week.
Okay, so we will move on down. So no new business tonight, so we'll jump into unfinished business.
Yes.
Page one.
I know.
All right, so first up tonight is gonna be ordinance number 821, an ordinance of the city of Toledo, Washington. Repealing and replacing sections 8-4-60 of the Toledo City Code to authorize administrative approval of certain water leak billing adjustments and modify the adjustment calculation method. This is the second reading. We did the first one at the last meeting. Entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance number 821.
Can we get a second?
I can second that.
Been moved by Rebecca and seconded by Eric. Is there any further discussion on this? I know we went through it last time.
I don't know if it's this one, I can't find it right now. Of course. Which ordinance is this one?
This is the one on the water, this is the water leak. Yeah,
Yep, and we dropped it down to 150,
Thank you. For
For your guys'
This is the
notes.
one I
Yeah.
have issue on.
and they all go in front of council after,
after the 150.
yeah.
Right, but in the first part where Rachel does the approval.
Mhm.
We also discussed that you don't have to be present, but you have to sign
Sign it,
up on
yep.
it for security, and that's not in here.
I thought I had seen that in there when I read over it.
Should be in section B.
Mhm.
So
Just amend your motion. we
can
can fix it.
I'd like to amend my motion to approve ordinance number 821 with the addition of the mayor will sign off after the city clerk, section 8-4-60B.
I'll second that as well.
Cool.
Okay, hold on. Good.
And, it doesn't appear that they have to go through the paperwork. Which,
They do have to go through the paperwork. It's part of the application. In order to even get here, there's an application that they have.
appear to be in part one.
In D, it says they'll submit the written request.
Isn't that,
Using the.
Which is the
city's-
application.
Using the city's water leak reduction request form.
Right.
which is under A, they have to apply. It's the very last line. They
And then pretty much all the, or the first
have to-
part of it. Okay,
Okay.
then I did second that.
Yep. All right, so the amended motion was made by Rebecca and seconded by Eric. Any further discussion before I call for the vote? And to 8:20. So this is also the second reading for ordinance number 820, an ordinance of the city of Toledo, Washington, and the Toledo Municipal Code 8-4-17 to require the installation of customer side water shutoff valves during permitted interior or exterior plumbing work to protect municipal infrastructure and enhance customer safety. Entertain a motion.
I motion we accept ordinance 820.
I'll second that.
Been moved by Jamie and seconded by Rebecca. Is there any discussion on this one? We'll go ahead and move on down to the next one, which is the 911 ILA. So it's the interlocal agreement, Lewis County 911. Entertain the motion.
I'll make a motion to accept the ILA with Lewis County 911.
Thought we already did this.
Isn't this
I was gonna say
quarterly?
too.
We did, and then, in that, it said that there'd be another contract coming out. I've sent both you guys all of the meetings that were going on for the 911 discussion. You both said you wanted to be included in those. They've been going over the updated contract since we had the 911 tax pass, so they had to redo the contract. And I believe in the last contract, it did say that there would be a new one coming out.
Seen flood stuff, flooding and stuff, I haven't. seen
Yeah, the 911 stuff too.
the 911.
Me too.
20-page contract.
Okay. It looked like it was really good for home to sleep.
Is this pretty much the same one we already passed?
There's not a lot of changes in it. It is a lot of information.
It is a lot.
And if we don't pass it, we're SOL,
Mhm.
Mhm.
so. Yes. Is that extortion?
Like, and I don't know that, I mean, it's pretty much from what I had understand before too. It is one of those, it is what it is. Like, it's not up for,
Mhm.
They try to cut as much as they can.
yeah.
And is this a? Quarterly billing, or is it?
It's quarterly, yeah. But it dropped, and this is the one that significantly dropped for us with
A
the tax
lot.
that passed.
That was the extortion, was the bill.
I think it went down like 70%. I mean, it was a lot that we saved.
Hence the encouragement to pass this.
Yeah, and they did, I mean, they've been going back and forth for several months on this. There's, taking in the city's feedback.
You have any discussion? Before I call for the vote?
Sounds like a call.
All right, we'll go ahead and call all those in favor,
Aye.
opposed? Great, motion carries.
That I grudgingly.
Yeah.
Those are the ones that it's great fun to.
Well, it is for 3 years, says.
So we'll go ahead and move on down our list, so Into our other business, so. Does anybody feel the need for the mid-month workshop this?
So no.
Fine. Nipples and cough.
So if nobody has anything, we will go ahead and forego our mid-month workshop for this month, and we'll revisit next month. Other business is the special events permit for the Toledo Thursday Market. And
They have everything they need. I did send it over to Valentine. It's pretty much the same as last year. Nothing's changed. This doesn't fall under the Tuesday stuff, so technically it's one we should have threw under there for me to approve, but they have their insurance. There was no issues last year with anything. Yeah, it's just,
Okay,
yeah, because it's an annual permit, so.
You calling for the motion?
I would entertain a motion.
I'll make a motion to approve Thursday markets. Special use permit.
I'll second that.
Then moved by Eric and seconded by Tommy. Any discussion before I call for the vote?
It's nice to have seen Thursday market. I haven't seen Thursday market grow over the last.
Yeah.
coming up.
Mhm.
It's
It should be a good year.
quite awesome.
Even people further up north have been, it's nice when I'm out and about and I hear them.
If you haven't seen the Rock Lady yet, you need to go see the Rock
I
Lady.
have not seen it.
All kinds of really neat things.
I will go check that one out. All right, all those in favor?
I,
Opposed? Right, motion carries. Next up
Can I
is,
tack on to your mid-month meeting? Question with, Rachel, whether or not you see a need for, a grants meeting? Is there anything really coming up?
do you need a grant meeting? In May?
We can skip it if you guys like. I do have Amy Buzzard that reached out, so we can just do it next month and I can update you guys on that.
Okay,
Because I don't have any.
if there's anything,
Important, and then let me know.
All right, so we will move down to the second item on the other business, which is the special events permit for the Toledo Community Cleanup Day. And this would be pending their, the insurance information being provided.
Yeah, I don't have a completed application yet, but I don't want to be doing it next meeting when they're gonna, yeah, exactly. So
she did say the Lions Club's gonna cover their insurance.
yeah,
Yep.
yeah.
And then it's just sort of all over town and
Well, I'm gonna need to get all that information. So if there's anything I see on here that's concerning, I can get it back in front of you guys. If it's pretty basic, then we'll just approve it. Is what I would like to do.
so I'll make a motion to approve their application pending all items received.
Before I call for a vote? All those in favor?
I,
Opposed? And carries. Right, so. Mhm.
This is sign up week going on right now this week, so if you'd like to run, we have.
All right, so we will go ahead and move down to public input.
Carol Birch, managed Toledo Thursday Market.
thanks for taking care of the permit. Appreciate it, Rachel. I should have had it to you last week.
You're good. I know where you're at.
So, market is really ramping up. In the last 2 weeks, people said, oh yeah, the weather's good. Let's go outside. Let's go to the market. Couple things that are, we're kind of working on now. I met with Joe Jones last week for a couple hours. She's, actively keeping the market in mind, looking for grant money for mostly operation costs. We're really trying to get the kids club off the ground this year. If we can get some operations money, if I need to hire somebody part-time to run that aspect of it, we can do that, but we've got about a half a dozen dates in the summer plan to do kid stuff specifically. We're gonna do a quilting class, we're gonna try to do canning classes, we're gonna do some cooking demonstrations. We've got the sunflower growing contest, we're passing out seeds now. We've got the pumpkin starts will be the last 2 or 3 weeks of May for the Halloween layoff, and we haven't quite got that all figured out yet, but I think it's 65 starts last year. You were there, it was
Yeah.
chaos, it was great.
It was fun.
The other thing is, the fire department dropped by last week, and I guess they have portable cooling stations that they bring out. And she will be keeping track of the weather, and if it looks like we're gonna be heading into the 90s, even with that big shade structure, they're gonna come out with the cooling stations.
That's wonderful.
Yeah, anybody got a big question or wanna come volunteer or anything?
I think I did hear that, with the sunflower growing, that they would love to have a senior class as well.
I can do that, I have plenty of seeds, Baker Creek sent me 700 seeds, if you wanna be a senior class,
Yep,
do it.
you can't.
Do it, come by, we'll sign you up, there are no,
today.
there's no rules, I don't care if you get your compost from Chernobyl, the bigger the better. So, yeah, why not?
Perfect. Thank you.
Yeah. You can send your email and you can send your link to some.
Got the minute. Hi, Wheeler. Touching on the chamber camera discussion from last time.
Oh, yeah.
I think there's an unpredictable variable in there that nobody thought about, that even if we run it through the city, we'll never be able to know how much time you're gonna have to spend on public records requests for them. So it's just something to consider, that if it's going through you guys and you get public records requests, it might take a lot of your time.
Yeah, those people that always put in them public records.
Yes.
requests.
I just wanted on the meeting minutes, do we
Yeah,
have an update on the jailhouse, whether it's ours or not?
We do not as of yet. I have an email out to, both WashDOT and the county too, so.
Sweet. And then along that lines, the sidewalk thing.
Yep.
I was thinking, so I noticed in Vision Toledo's minutes, they're working on redoing the steel structure on it. And I'm thinking, have we ever thought about asking them if they have funds to pay the rest of it? Because I know that they've taken a lot of ownership of that
Yeah.
specific park, and so it's one of those, we can take the paving patios out and get it actually paved
Okay.
before.
I would save a lot of money too, because I don't think they have to pay prevailing wage.
And yeah, that's about it. Last thing there is just to Jamie's frustrations there. I just wanted to note that it's very similar to some of the things that I heard Emily expressing before she left, former counselor Owen as well. And it's one of those, I think that you guys are all elected here because somebody in the town liked your opinions enough to give you a seat here. And I just hope that we can get to a point where we can not have those frustrations spill over in front of cameras.
Yeah.
Anybody else for public input tonight? All right, no executive session, so to entertain a motion to adjourn.
Make a motion to adjourn.
I'll second. Eric, seconded by Tanya, all those in favor? Opposed? Meeting adjourned.